Welcome. Thank you for coming. Calling the meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please, Mr. Calavita?
Dr. Genovese. Here. Mr. Capadia.
Here.
Mr. Peters.
Here.
Mr. Slotman. Dr. Stiliano.
Here.
Ms. Williams-Galliano.
Here.
Dr. Wilson. Here. We have a quorum.
Wonderful. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Hopewell Valley Regional Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof communicated to the Hopewell Valley News and the Times on January 4th, 2024. This meeting notice was also sent to Comcast Cable and Verizon Fios. The board reserves the right to enter into executive session during all meetings of the Board of Education. The meeting is being recorded for the purposes of board review, future reference, preparation of the minutes, and viewing on YouTube, Bulldog TV, and the school district website, www.hvrsd.org. The members of the public who intend to participate in public comment, we ask that you sign in prior to speaking at the dais. This will assist us with our record keeping. Please join me in the flag salute and also remain standing following the flag salute for the Star-Spangled Banner. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, thank you. I think we want the audience to remain standing for this next song. Wouldn't we agree, fifth graders? We have to remain standing for this song. So I'm not going to talk any longer, but this is the next song that you're about to hear is, I think, one of my favorites that I've learned very quickly. I think you're going to learn too, and it's something that makes me teary-eyed, especially at graduation when I get to hear the fifth graders say it one more time. But I'm going to let these fifth graders say it a couple more times before they graduate. So take it away, Ms. Dower.
Our
And I think, Ms. Dower, you said this is a throwback, this song? It's a throwback. All right, let's do it, Ms. Dower. Oh, you don't have to stand, Ms. Dower. You don't want, you know. Thank you, Ms. Dower. Thank you to our fifth grade vocal ensemble. They meet every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. How about another round of applause for our vocal ensemble?
I
Thank
thought when we were asked to stand, we were going to get to dance. Anybody else? Was great. It was great, Lee. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on, we are going to need a first and a second to approve the minutes for the March 17th meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Seeing none, the minutes are passed. We are going to, well, according to the agenda, we already had our vocal ensemble. Do we?
Scott. Scott.
Scott, just stay up there.
So thank you again. Good evening, members of the Board of Education. Certainly welcome to Hopewell Elementary School. Again, we're honored here to be. We're honored to host you this evening. Certainly, you got a little glimpse of just some of the small talent that we have in this building. We're very thankful for that. Certainly appreciative of that. This evening, we also have another special quick presentation that I would love to call up two of our amazing fifth graders you probably saw earlier. So Jacqueline and Michaela, if you would join me at the podium. They're also going to be joined by Mr. John Haney, the Executive Director of the Chubby's Project, just to share a few words about our important partnership with HES. So please join me in welcoming them.
Scott, pull it down.
We would like to take a moment to thank the Chubby's Project for their partnership. Throughout the year, we have collected various items, including gloves and scarves in the winter, we filled the pantry with our Super Bowl collection in February, collected hygiene items, and created hygiene kits for our day of collaboration. And this month, we collected tuna and chicken.
Thank you to the Chubby's Project for supporting so many in our community. At this time, we would like to present Mr. Haney with April's collection.
We gave you the lighter bags, Mr. Haney. All right. Microphone.
So I just want to, got to record me. I'm not that important. All right, so I want to greet the board, Superintendent Treese, the Board of Ed, and of course, Principal Bertel. Chubby's is a local neighborhood institution. It's about building community, and it does it quite well. I'm a retired school administrator. When I started as a school administrator, I was a brunette, so you can tell I was at it a long time and went through, I hear you. In any case, I just wanted to thank the school. You know, it's one thing to do good things, but it's another to do it with such joy and positivity and compassion for people. Life hasn't always been fair to all members of our community, and the students here, the parents here, the staff here, Mr. Patel have been just so amazing to work with and so kind to the people that we serve and need. So I just wanted to thank you for that. It is a 24/7 food pantry. We deliver groceries and we deliver prepared meals as well and provide companionship. So I don't want to go on too long, but in any case, I want to assure parents that you're in a really good school. My daughter actually graduated from here a while ago. Very well run. It's extremely a great atmosphere. I've been an administrator for 26 years. I know a good place when I say it, so congratulations to Mr. Patel. Board of Ed, I'm glad you get to hear this as a community member, what a fine educational institution this is, and I just want to thank everybody for helping Chubby's and being great community members and great neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a wonderful organization, and I'm glad our kids here in the school district get to participate in serving their neighbors. With that, I'm going to invite Ms. Erin Lee to give us their student representative update.
As spring approaches at HVCHS, many events have celebrated the achievements of our students and staff. This month, we honored our senior athletes with Senior Day for girls lacrosse and track and field teams. These events recognize the dedication and accomplishments of our graduating senior athletes. We also celebrated our two wonderful vice principals, Mr. Smith and Dr. Quinn, during National Assistant Principals Week. Activities included a sticker scavenger hunt and fortune cookie prize wheels. We are so grateful for their leadership and commitment to our school community. And last Thursday, we welcomed over 50 students for Take Your Child to Work Day. Students enjoyed various activities, including scavenger hunts, arts and crafts, and games on the turf. And finally, the HVCHS Youth Environmental Society hosted a successful Green Week. Throughout the week, students were able to participate in Eco Lunch and Learn sessions, which featured guest speakers and workshops focusing on sustainability and environmental stewardship. We are proud of all the hard work shown by our students this spring. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Anyone from the board with questions? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Ms. Lee, and of course, you know, you're always welcome to stay with us as long as you're able. With that, we're going to go ahead and move on. I do not have a report. I always comment throughout the meeting as opposed to holding a long comment in the beginning, but I will offer the time to Dr. Treese.
Thank you. I just have a few words because I want to be able to jump right into the tentative budget adoption tonight. I do want to give a quick shout out also to our color guard. They really kicked butt, I heard, in some competitions. We're going to have them at the next board meeting so we can recognize them fully. I'm working with Mr. Smith to get them here, but I heard that they really did a phenomenal job, the indoor color guard. So we'll be seeing them next month on May 19th. That meeting will be at Timberlane Middle School at 5:30. We will start with the tour, and then afterwards we will start with student recognitions before we jump into our board meeting. We really have been trying to make sure that we feature our students. That is our best work. And I love when folks reach out and tell us about those great things that are going on in their schools, because sometimes the teachers don't tell us. So they're very modest, and we want to really highlight their great work. So we're going to be inviting some of our high schoolers to Timberlane to celebrate their work on indoor color guard. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Mr. Calavita for our tentative budget discussion.
It's actually the final budget. This is it.
Well, I guess they got to vote still.
As Dr. Plitz has reminded me at lunch today, this is a lot of the time, umpteenth time that we've seen this. I had to do it. But as we do with all of our budget presentations, we like to start with the mission statement, because this is what guides the administration and the board in putting forward a budget each year. We've come a long way. The first public budget presentation we had was, believe it or not, in September. We actually started a little bit sooner than that with the superintendent's cabinet, starting to discuss budget. And believe it or not, I'll start to work on building next year's budget right after we strike this budget. But we did spend a good part of the fall discussing some of the major drivers to our budget. We were meeting with various stakeholders within district, from our principals to our supervisors, the cabinet members and board members as well, discussing what are the components of the budget going to be this year. We had board discussions in both January and February and into March. When we received our state aid application, we actually did get $400,000 more this year than we had in the past, which is a positive sign. What I wanted to note to the members of the community, I know it's a bigger tax increase than the 2% that were allowed. We did have waivers, and we'll get into that later. But we were actually shorted this year about $1 million by the state. The state runs a formula, and the formula stated that we should have gotten over $1 million more than we did. They just didn't have the revenue to support giving us all the money that we should have gotten. So I wanted the public to understand that we're doing everything we can with what might be considered a broken state formula. They don't have a way to fund the formula completely. We got what we were supposed to get based upon that formula, but not all of it. So, hopefully in future years we'll be able to be truly fully funded by what we're entitled to. Okay. About a month ago, we approved our tentative budget. That budget went to the county without incident. It was approved within 2 or 3 days. It's been advertised in the local paper. And we are here tonight to present the final budget that hopefully will be adopted by the board at the end of the presentation and will be implemented within the next few days, pending a successful approval. All right. And again, we focused on priorities that we want to make sure that we're doing in our budget. Again, to reflect our mission statement and to continue and maintain as many of the great programs and services we have as possible. We weren't able to maintain everything this year the way we might have wanted, but we were able to maintain everything. Every kid's going to get the same experiences that they had, might be delivered a little bit differently. And Dr. Treese will go into more of that later on. Again, we are here to provide a great academic program to all the students who attend our schools. We want to make sure that our curriculum reflects what we do. We are governed by the state of New Jersey, who dictates some of that, but we want to make sure that we're doing what we want as well. We need to meet all of our contractual salary obligations. We are, an operation that functions mostly on human resources. We have, 80% of our budget is staffing. We want to continue to evaluate our programs. If we have programs that are underserved, we're going to remove those programs. And if there's programs that we see that we need to implement to reflect a changing society, we're going to do that as well. And again, we want to prepare a budget that allows us to change as the future changes. Dr. Treese, anything else on that?
I would just like to add that as we really looked at ways to cut from our budget, Bob already shared that we wanted to make sure that kids had generally the same experience that they have now. We might have to do things with less frequency, but we wanted students to have the experience of having STEAM, of having extracurricular sports, in extracurricular activities, all of the things that we've always had to do, we've always wanted to do for our kids. We lost auto shop as a result of not being able to hire. So it was a way through natural attrition to make a cut because we couldn't fill the position. And we tried to avail ourselves of that as much as possible, non-renewals, resignations, and retirements to kind of absorb some of that so we can keep our people that do work for us, that we do care about, that we do want to keep on our staff, as whole as possible.
So some of the things that helped push us in a different direction this year, we do have a 2% levy cap. That's on the money we're allowed to raise on our own through the state. We were able to take advantage this year of a health benefit waiver. Due to the rising cost of health benefit care, we were able to get a waiver of almost $1.8 million to help offset that hit to our budget. We are growing. For the first time in a long time, Hopewell Valley is growing in enrollment. That was about a $250,000 adjustment due to the enrollment that happened over the past year. We did receive, as I mentioned, the additional $400,000 in state aid. Federal aid, we have not been notified yet. This is the time of year where we're notified about our IDEA and title grant fundings. Our IDEA monies this year were somewhere in the area of $900,000. And our title money's somewhere in the area of $150,000, give or take. But those are pockets of money designed for very specific populations. IDEA in Hopewell goes directly to special education tuition, helps offset that cost. Title I money goes directly towards our most needy students in support work, additional supports. It also provides some character ed monies and also some training for our teaching staff. We are waiting to see what's going to come. We've been told to anticipate around 75% of what we got this year. I'm hoping for better than that, but we were told to anticipate no more than 75%. We are also able to generate money locally. We do sell some seats here to both our regular ed programs and our special ed programs that help offset the cost of the programs. We do rent our facilities out. Most of our facilities are used on a daily basis, our high school and middle school through the weekend a lot, but we do charge some fees for outside folks to use those to help offset the cost. As we've talked throughout the winter and the early spring, we are re-implementing athletic and co-curricular fees this year, again, to help defray some of the costs. It won't cover everything. It'll help us to maintain those programs that we might otherwise have had to cut. You may have read in the papers over the past several weeks, districts all over New Jersey beginning to implement fees again, some re-implementing them as we are, some bringing them in new, some increasing the fees they've been charging, and unfortunately others eliminating their athletic programs altogether. There's an article about Lacey Township that they're eliminating their entire athletic program. We don't want to do that here. And again, something else that we've implemented or are going to increase this year are transportation fees, just to be able to maintain that program for folks. The things that are driving our budget, as probably with most of your own home budgets, inflation continues to be a problem in most of the areas that we need. Health benefits, energy has gone up probably 20% already, and we're told to anticipate another increase in June. Believe it or not, driven by AI. All these AI sub-centers and server centers are driving the cost of energy sky high right now. We need to maintain our curriculum and instruction. That's what we do. We teach children what they need to know, and from what I saw of the kids walking through the building with Mr. Patel today, I think we're doing a pretty good job with that. Transportation continues to go up. This year, transportation increase is 3.57% on top of what we were paying this year. So again, not a whole lot of area for savings there. Insurance, not only property and casualty insurance, if you've seen the disasters that have been happening around the country from floods and hurricanes and the fires in California, believe it or not, all have an impact on our premiums, okay? Facility and maintenance costs continue to rise. We showed the folks tonight during the tour some of the things we've already done and some of the things that we're going to have to keep doing. Things just don't last as long as they used to in a disposal environment. Unfortunately, that's where we are today. Again, we'd like to maintain our least restrictive environment for special education. We feel that we have a great program here in district, and when we can bring students back to our facilities and our programs, we try to do that as best we can. As I mentioned, staffing is a huge part of our budget. Salary and benefits for all of our staff members is about 80% of our budget. All right? To make big dents in our budget, unfortunately, it's human resources. It's not where we want to go. If we could save it, if we could get a great year in our insurance renewals, unfortunately, we can't. A lot of our insurance is governed by the state. The state tells us what we have to offer and how we have to offer it. Technology, as you can see, everywhere in this building. In this room, for example, we've got heat detectors. All are addressable. Cameras, projectors, all the stuff requires servers. Now it's all addressable and into our technology. And again, we continue to experience growth in Hopewell Valley. There are children moving in down in the area around ShopRite and the old Merrill Lynch complex, but also in the area behind Stony Brook over on Federal City Road, and on Bull Run Road. There are students moving in all the time, and we're trying to do the best we can to mitigate that. We have done as much as we can. We try to continue to look for ways to save money. We are a self-insured health benefit operation, which means that I don't have to pay premiums and get nothing back. When we pay out our claims. If we have a good year, we have people using less insurance in a given year, we reap the savings and we can put it back into our budget. Unfortunately, we are seeing huge increases in health benefits this year, but we continue to run more than $1 million better than the state program, so we feel fortunate with that. I already spoke about special education, what we're doing to control costs there. We do participate in the school choice program at our high school. We have a fine arts program where we bring in, I believe it's 13 students from outside the district. That brings to us about $300,000. Technology, we've done everything we can as far as maintaining a Google environment, which saves us money on Microsoft licensing fees. We've gone to a Google environment with email that saves us, again, more on those licensing fees. And we've moved to a Google Chromebook platform away from, at the elementary schools, the Apple computers that we were using probably 10 years ago at this point. We cooperatively purchase nearly everything we do. We enhance our buying power by merging with the over 600 school districts in New Jersey to leverage the bidding that is done by cooperatives, including Mercer County Special Services School District, Ed Services Commission of New Jersey, of which we're free members. There's no charge to join them, but we get to join in on the bids that they do at a savings. Again, we're doing the best we can with our facilities. When we do put new pieces to our facilities in, we try to do it so that our buildings run very efficiently and as possible. Okay, and we also have, we had our head custodian tonight walking us around our building. Our head custodian and maintenance facility team is able to do a lot of repairs and maintenance in-house, saving us the hardship of having to go out to a general contractor to get things done when our guys can get it done for just time and materials. It helps save the district hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And just a breakdown of how our money is used. If you take from the very top at 12 o'clock and work your way around to about 9, it's just that's our staff and benefits, showing you, that piece of the pie that's a little more than almost 80% of our budget. It's a pretty telling symbol. That's where our money goes. One might argue that if you add the green slice, the transportation, again, that's a mandated service that we're required to provide those students who live further away from our buildings and they can't walk. So, again, the majority of the money that we have goes directly into the education of our students. This just gives a breakdown that our total appropriation budget is increasing about 3.1% this year. We were able to, the reason why we need a 4 point, we're going to get into that, but over a 4% increase in tax levy is because we're trying to reduce, and I'll show you on this page, we're trying to reduce the amount of fund balance. As you can see, we've reduced our fund balance by 30%. Fund balance is your savings, all right? And using savings to fund recurring expenses can catch up to you. All right, if you're using your savings to pay your mortgage each month, if you had lost your job or something like that and you start to use your savings, eventually that savings is going to go away and you're not going to be able to pay your mortgage once that savings is gone. We want to be less reliant on savings. We want to try to do a better job budgeting so that we don't need savings in our budget. Savings should be used, best practice should be used for one-time expenses. If we're going to repair a roof, if we're going to implement a program that we can fund in the following year with regular monies, that's what you want to use it for because you don't need to replace that money. Okay? Where does our money come from? Local funding is 92% of our budget, 87% from property taxes, 2% of the money comes from monies that we can raise on our own, those revenues, tuition, transportation fees, facility use fees, monies that we can generate. The more money we can generate, the less money that we have to rely on for property tax money. And use of surplus. And again, use of surplus, you might add it to that use of surplus comes from unexpended monies that came from the year before. So one might say that comes from our property taxes as well. But we are 92% funded with local resources. 7% funding comes from the state. And that's actually less than 1% funding, rounding it up, but less than 1% comes from our federal funding. And again, federal funding doesn't really help with our regular programming. It's designed for a specific purpose, but it does provide some help for us. But again, unlike some districts in the state that are funded more than 50%, 60, 70, 80% by the state, we're funding 92% with our local funds.
So a lot of folks ask the question, Bob, that if we lose federal funding, right, well, how much does that mean to the district?
It's over $1 million. And again, the biggest piece of it is that IDEA grant, and that is, we need that money. I mean, that is money that we need to.
We use it for placements out of district and things like that. So that's money we would have to find in our current budget to replace.
Okay, and this gives us an overall look at how our spending goes this year. Again, I'll reiterate it again. Our general fund, the top number, the 4.3, is capped at 2%. But we also had waivers for it. There are waivers that are granted by the Commissioner of Education. One waiver was for health benefits, as I said, and one was for an enrollment increase. We are fortunate to have a board that was willing to address this issue. There were many boards in the state who had catastrophic, without a better term, catastrophic cuts to their budget because their boards didn't want to go over the 2%. You can read about Montgomery, who cut 30 some odd teachers, Middletown, who cut 50 teachers and is closing 2 buildings, I believe. Jackson is closing their Legacy High School. I know it's not a popular decision to increase taxes more than the 2%, but to maintain the programs that everybody that we've heard tell us that are near and dear to them, taking those waivers was a way to preserve what we've built over the last 50, 60 years. What that means to the local taxpayer, it's 7 cents on their current rate across the board. It means that the increase for the average home, and the average home in the 3 municipalities is around $500,000, a little under for Hopewell Borough, a little above for Pennington Borough, but around $500,000. So if your home is valued in the $500,000 area, it doesn't mean the sales price, it means the valuation of it. It'd be about a $281 increase for that for Hopewell Borough, $295 for Hopewell Township, and $343 for Pennington Borough. And that brings us to the end of the presentation. I know we went kind of quickly through it, but we have seen it before. I wanted to open up for any comments from the board or superintendent at this point before we move ahead to the public.
I was just curious. So I know that electricity prices are going up 20 to 30% for homeowners in the state, but what's the effect for our district's budget? And I know we're in a bit of a unique predicament because we're a school, we have to leave the lights on 24/7 in certain capacities. So I'm just curious what the effect is.
I anticipated somewhat of an increase in electricity this year. Probably put an additional $300,000 in. Based upon the rumors we're hearing right now, we are looking probably, right off the bat, probably another $200,000 to $300,000 short for next year. We are trying to make a plan. Tom Quinn and I are trying to make a plan. We may be moving our set points back a little bit this year, not running the buildings at 70, 71 degrees. We may be going down a degree in the winter and increasing the air conditioning, making it a higher level in the summertime, and doing the best we can with that. Hopefully, we're waiting for our bid. We're in a consortium, again, with Energy. We're looking for to see what our bids come in at for the coming year. And that the bids is on the delivery. The commodity itself is we pay whatever the utility says. It's the delivery that we may be able to save some money on. So our consortium goes out to bid over the summer, and we're hoping that we might see some relief there. But yeah, it keeps changing. The number for Energy keeps changing.
Anyone else? Okay. Any comments, Dr. Trees?
Public comment on just the budget.
Okay. All right, with that said, we are going to move on to our public comment specifically on the budget. Members of the public are invited to address the board on the budget for a maximum of 3 minutes during this portion of the meeting. You're asked to state your name, address, and municipality. In response to your comments, the Board of Education may respond or direct the superintendent to do so. The board may also opt to take the matter up at a future meeting so that the matter is researched by the district administration. Any comments for our timekeeper?
Hi, I'm your friendly timekeeper. When there are 30 seconds left, you will see the yellow, and when your 3 minutes are up, you will see the red.
Public comments are now open on the budget. Okay, seeing none, public comments closed, and we'll move on to motion and second.
Adopting the budget.
Can I get a first and second for moving the budget?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Dr. Genovese,
Yes.
Mr. Kapadia,
Yes.
Mr. Peters,
Yes.
Mr. Slotman,
Aye.
Dr. Stiliano,
Yes.
Dr. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Williams-Galliano.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. I just want to acknowledge the entire board and the administration. It's been certainly since Mr. Calvita mentioned, since before September, but there's been a lot of pencil sharpening, a lot of going back and forth and making sure we're doing the right things for our children and having internal conversations to make sure we all understand what we're up against, but also what we're committing in the community to. So I just want to, again, thank everybody here for the homework that's been put in to move the budget forward. Okay, were any old business items? That felt anticlimactic. Where are the balloons?
I do need to say a little something, though. When we went through and talked about the activity fees, and I'm going to say this because my parents were those parents that would not ask for help and probably should have a lot of times. And I worked and I braided hair and I did babysat and I did all the things, right? If you need support, you don't have to be on free and reduced lunch to tell us that you need a little extra help. And we would keep that very confidential and handle that. We handled it for years. So please let us know if you need support on this. We don't want kids not participating because folks can't afford it. I know this is a challenging financial time. Folks may get laid off or things happen. Please let us know if you need that support, and we will make sure that every kid that wants to play, money shouldn't be a reason why they're not. So let us know.
Also, just to add, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we are planning to send letters to families proactively
Yes.
who do qualify for free and reduced lunch.
Absolutely, to remind them that that's the case. And we always tap those kids. We handle that.
Wonderful. Thank you for that reminder. Okay, any old business items? Seeing none, I need a first and second to move the consent.
Public comment. You skipped the real public.
So moved.
Oh.
Yeah, who moved it?
Mike.
All right.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Okay, seeing none, the consent agenda items are passed.
It was down at the bottom.
Oh, I see. Okay, we actually have another public comment. I hopped over it. So this is a public comment on any particular item. So members of the public are invited to address the board on any matter for a maximum of 3 minutes during this portion of the meeting. You're asked to state your name, address, and municipality. In response to your comments, the Board of Ed may respond or direct the superintendent to do so. The board may also opt to take the matter up at a future meeting so that the matter is researched by the district administration. Public comment is now open.
We on here? Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Treese, Ryan Kennedy, 104 West Broad Street in Hopewell Borough. Just a couple very quick comments. First, I really want to thank the board and the administration for having your meeting here tonight in Hopewell Borough and your program of kind of distributing them out to the community. It is very much appreciated, making them accessible like this, and very much appreciate you doing them this way. I want to echo very briefly as a proud parent the comments that Dr. Treese made earlier, foreshadowing the upcoming presentation that might be next month. On behalf of the Color Guard, I can confirm as a proud parent they did a great job this year, and appreciate your support of them. I know there's some other parents here as well that would say the same thing. Finally, I want to thank Dr. Patel. Oh, there he is. This past week was Walk and Roll to School here in the borough and Hopewell Elementary. We really pride ourselves as a community as being a walkable, bikeable place. It was just really heartening to see the outpouring of support from our community, from this school, with everyone walking and biking to school together. So I want to thank everyone here at Hopewell Elementary. I want to give a shout out to our Public Works Department at Hopewell Borough, Hopewell Township Police Department, and our first responders at Hopewell Fire Department for jumping in for just an amazing program. So again, Dr. Patel, thank you so much for doing that and highlighting that here in our community. So again, thank you so much.
Any other comments?
Marion Labos, 10 Model Avenue, Hopewell Borough. So good evening, President, Board, and Dr. Treese. I just would like to express my gratitude for all the efforts for the successful Green Week we just completed, in particular to Dr. Bertel and facilities and all of HES. This year we started the first native plant pollinator meadow on HES property. It's located behind the parking lot, so straight that way. It doesn't look like very much right now. It looks like a pile of mulch, but the thing about native plants is you give it a year or two and it's bursting full with life. It contains a vernal pond and it stays a bit wet, so it's going to be a really neat ecosystem in a few years. I had the honor of helping out on Friday, and I look forward to seeing HES continue planting, caring for, and learning from nature. The students are creating a vibrant ecosystem and that will nurture the spring peepers and the wood frogs, because we are Freddy the Frogs, who make Hopewell Elementary School their home. So, thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, everyone. My name's Kristen Broderick. I live on Crusher Road in Hopewell Township, and I have 3 children. My oldest is a first grader here at Hopewell Elementary. And a little bit similarly to Marion, I just want to express thanks and gratitude for all that happened throughout the Green Week. I really only know a small portion of it, but there is one particular project that I want to speak on because it felt so meaningful and significant to me that I want to shout it from the rooftops and make sure that everyone knows about it. And that is the tree ceremony. So this is a project that I believe was spearheaded by Dr. Treese and the Hopewell Valley Gardens for Wildlife. Correct me if I'm wrong. The project entailed 1 donation per school for a New Jersey state tree. And if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's the northern red oak. To my knowledge, all 6 schools participated, and all had a very unique tree ceremony. I'm going to just talk for a minute specifically about HES, because that's the one I was part of. So with the help of Dr. Patel, we coined the first ever tree jubilee, and I felt like it was a party. As a parent and a licensed mental health professional, it left a lasting impact on me as to how nature and being outdoors and being together in nature and outdoors is so significant for our mental health. This included, our Jubilee included a land acknowledgement recognizing the role that our ancestors have played in taking care of this very same land that we were standing on. We took deep breaths together that 5th grade Green Team students led. We practiced outdoor mindfulness. We learned some of the science behind the role that a tree can play in clean air and oxygen. We took a moment of silence to send a good wish to the tree to help it succeed. And lastly, we made sure that all students know that trees can also be friends. Not only do they help us physically, but they can even provide emotional support when you're having a bad day or feeling lonely. We ended the Jubilee with actually planting the tree, cheering, clapping, and celebrating our new friend. My time is up.
Any other comments? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and respond.
Yeah, just real quickly, I just wanted to say thank you for your help with the native plant garden. I'm very proud of that work that we're doing. I'm entertaining conversations with Phobos to see what we can do between the high school and the middle school. It is a work in progress. I know it's ugly for a while, but it's going to be worth the wait. And to have the kids to be able to come back and see it once it's in full glory, that's amazing. And I also want to thank, it was not my thunder. I was just called and said, could we plant trees? And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then Mr. Quinn said, not near my building. We said, we got this. How far away? You know, we're not going to put a redwood tree in the middle of the school. We're not doing that this time. So I want to say thank you to Hopewell Valley Gardens and Wildlife, specifically Chrissy, I think it's Basin is how she pronounced her last name? Kersey is her last name. She had something different here. We're going to release a press release about it and hopefully include some pictures to the newspapers so that can, so everyone can hear about the great work. But she's not just encouraging us to do this on our campuses, but she's encouraging, as you think about your landscaping in your own homes over the summer, to start thinking about planting native plants. I know I'm looking at that myself. Maybe something will actually live now and grow in my yard because I keep planting things that are bad for the environment and they die anyway. So thank you for your expertise and working with us to make sure that we're creating these ecosystems for our community and the wildlife that's out there.
And I want to just throw an extra acknowledgement in there. I understand that we acknowledged the indoor color guard, but we may have missed the percussion. So I just wanted to give a hooray to both of the parts of the marching band.
They're coming. They're coming next board meeting on the
Yes,
19th,
they will
May
definitely
19th.
be here, but I happen to know we might have someone here.
Well done. Okay.
Moving on, we're going to do committee notes and minutes and comments.
All right, I'll start with finance. How about that? All right. Good evening, everybody. So I'm going to report back on our finance committee meeting that we had middle of this month, like we normally do. I'm just reading some notes off of the notes on my phone here, so bear with me. So I think a lot of the discussion revolved primarily around the continued dialogue on the budget that we just passed, as well as the ongoing referendum discussions that we're having throughout the district. We had some discussions internally about some of the areas of the budget, which we again talked about ad nauseum over the past couple months, and then continue to speak more about some of the ongoing litigation between the towns and how the impact that has on our referendum. I know many of us on the board and in the community are aware of what's going on there. As far as some facilities updates, which I think are important for the public to know and the rest of the board to know, we talked a lot about some of the ongoing issues on some of the related expenses that we are putting in the referendum at the individual schools. We talked about the high school with the continued boiler issue. We talked about Bear Tavern with the holding tank issue. And then, as always, our friends in facilities update us on all the new fun stuff that they're dealing with. So we heard about some of the pipe failures at Bear Tavern. We heard more about some of the leaks in one of the gym areas and needing to shut off water valves permanently or for a long period of time at the high school. Sewer issues at Hopewell Elementary, Stony Brook, and the high school. Pack lighting issues, as well as fire alarm issues at all of the schools. So I think I say it in this fashion because this continues just to reiterate the need for us to make sure that we're being really, really forward and forefront with the community about the ongoing needs for added costs to help get this done once and for all. While Tom and the team in facilities do a tremendous job, we know we just can't keep up anymore, and these are just more of those same sentiments that we hear about every single month. That's all I got. Thank you.
We do have one agenda item.
We have one agenda item, that's right. Sorry about that. We are going to be accepting a donation tonight of a enclosed trailer from the Music Theater Parent Association for indoor percussion, which is fantastic. So thank you very much for that. Do we have to do anything to accept that?
Motion.
A motion? Okay, can I get a motion and a second to accept that donation?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? All right. Moving on. We have
Yeah, round two, here we go. So the Personnel Committee, for a reminder for the public, we meet prior to all board meetings right before this meeting. So we had a chance to meet to talk about a few items. I'm just going to go through a couple of them. As always, it's kind of one of those bittersweet moments where we accept retirement resignations and we talk about it, but we want to be able to talk about the great work that many of these folks have put into the community. So we do have 4 retirements up on the agenda. One from Pamela Edwards, who's been at the district since 1991. One from Britt Marie Dominic, who's been at the district since 1997. Another from Yvonne Vasquez, who's been with the district since 2002. And another one from Barry Friedman, who's been at the district since 2007. So again, we are just so grateful for the work that they've put in over the years to help make this school what it is. And they're going to have some big shoes to have to fill here with administration with many of them. So thank you very much for that. A couple additional things that we talked about. There's 2 big searches going on by administration. That one is ongoing, and another one we're really, really happy to talk about, that we did find a STEAM and STEM supervisor, Matthew Oren, who's going to be starting July 7th, 2025. So we're very excited about that. I know that some of the administration did a lot of work to find that, so thank you for that. And there is another search happening right now, and we're going to have some more news on that search in the coming days ahead. So very much appreciate it. As far as anything else, am I missing anything, Tana? I don't think I am. Yeah, we'll just go right into the approval. So can I just get a motion first and second? Is that what that is for approval? Great.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Kapadia,
Yes.
Mr. Peters,
Yes.
Mr. Slotman,
Aye.
Dr. Stiliano,
Yes.
Dr. Wilson,
Yes.
Dr. Genovese,
Yes.
Ms. Williams-Galliano.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Wonderful. Okay, moving on to Ed Crom. Are you?
I think that's me. I think I'm the last
Oh.
committee member standing, or at least at the meeting anyway, so. Very briefly, we met last Monday, the 21st, had a terrific discussion on a number of issues. We had Dr. Darren Lewin join us to provide an overview of our social studies curriculum, specifically as it relates to connecting with the community. And we discussed various ways to continue improving how civics is being taught consistently here in the school district. We had Principal Riley provide an overview of the activity fees, the extracurricular fees that were mentioned earlier. And we also had Jeff Losh, who is our educational technological administrator, ed tech supervisor. I think that's his official title. I want to make sure I do justice to that. He provided the committee with an overview of AI use in the district and the evolving district AI use plan, as well as detailed policies and supporting materials for classroom use, training, best practices, et cetera. And we, had a good discussion about that, provided some additional feedback, and then learned that some of these activities will be rolled out fully starting in the coming academic year. And we expect to have Mr. Losh back in September to provide additional information on how the AI training and policy rollout has been going in the school district. Lastly, we had Beth Hoffman and George Needham, who I believe are our K-12 and our PK-5 special education supervisors here in the district. If I said something, but 6 to 12 and PK-5 special education administrators here in the district to provide an overview of our special education. And we discussed the possibility of extending executive function training to the general student population on a voluntary basis, and we'll hear more about that as we move forward. And I would invite Dr. Felitzis to add anything else I might have missed from the meeting. Great.
Wonderful. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you. You're welcome.
We're going back to you anyway
know.
for
I'm ready.
community
I'm ready.
relations.
I'm ready to talk. Community Relations Committee, we met on April 17th, and I know Mr. Kapadia and Dr. Genovese are here, so please feel free to add in anything that I might have missed. But Principal Riley has been making the rounds, so we also heard from her on the various activity fees discussion, and had a really good discussion about the activity fees and what to expect in the fall when they're sort of rolled out to families who participate in different extracurricular activities. Also heard a little bit about the timing of parent communication on this, which I expect we'll hear about more in the near future. We also talked a little bit about Dr. Treese, as we know, has put together a communications committee to discuss future referendum issues. And at the time, that committee had not yet met, but we did in fact meet on April 23rd, last Wednesday, I guess.
Yes,
It was
we
on
had a pretty
Wednesday.
good turnout, too.
We had a
Yes.
great turnout, had a really terrific discussion. Mr. Kapadia was also there for that. And we had a really great turnout, great discussion with a whole bunch of really good ideas on referendum, and looking forward to continue to engage those members of the community as we get closer to the November referendum. I think it's November 4th this year. Drew is nodding yes, so that means I've gotten the correct date. So that more to come on that as we get closer, obviously, and those plans start to be finalized. And other than that, we also had a very brief discussion on some of the things Mark had mentioned, the sort of Hopewell Township update. Had a very brief discussion on that as well, and the terrific work that our board president and Dr. Treese are doing on that topic. So that is the gist of the Community Relations Committee meeting from a couple weeks ago. Thank you.
Awesome. Any questions?
Do you want me to just keep doing the rest of them, even though I no? Okay.
Keep it rolling.
Yeah, if you want to do SEL,
Passing the torch.
Okay. So we had a short SEL meeting. The year is winding down, although they're still doing a lot of amazing things. There was a wellness day at the high school on March 18th. And then we have some SEL April celebrations of inclusivity in diverse learners. We still have 3 more 90-minute sessions in May, training on our nurtured heart. So anyone who's interested, is that the first round of sessions? So anyone who's interested in the nurtured heart, we encourage you to come out for those sessions in May. We also are piloting our Character Strong Tier 2 interventions at the elementary schools. So some exciting things happening there.
Any questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to government relations.
All right, Bob, would it be possible to put up the PDF in the background? I know you got to restart it. I can get into it. It'll take me some time to get there. The Government Relations Committee met on April 9th to continue advancing its mission of enhancing engagement with government leaders, advocating for state funding and policy solutions, and exploring sustainable structures for long-term government relations efforts. The committee has taken several actions to advance local government engagement since its creation. As a reminder, invitations have been extended to mayors, township committee members, and town council members in Hopewell Township, Hopewell Borough, and Pennington Borough for the remaining school building tours. I know Mayor Kennedy had to step out, but we appreciate him taking the time out of his schedule to come and tour Hopewell Borough, as well as attend some of the other tours that we've had. Following up on last month's update, we successfully reached out and scheduled a meeting with Mercer County Executive Dan Benson to discuss opportunities for cross-district collaboration aimed at combating segregation. Mercer County is one of the most segregated counties in the state along racial and socioeconomic lines. It's a pervasive systemic issue that affects all of our students' development, socialization, and success. And so this presents us a unique opportunity for joint initiatives such as a countywide field day or coordinated curriculum programming to help foster integration. So the committee looks forward to meeting with County Executive Benson at the end of next month. So we're very excited about that. In terms of state-level advocacy, the committee has officially submitted an FY26 budget request to the 15th Legislative District delegation. The proposal, which it's not on screen, it's okay. It's requesting, you can see it right there. So the request is requesting the state legislature to appropriate $125,000 for an ADA accessible playground at Bear Tavern. If you can just scroll down, the current playground is not ADA compliant due to the wood fiber surface and the lack of ground level activities. So it's gonna have to be replaced, and whether that's a result of the planned expansion to Bear Tavern from the referendum or from township committee dollars, it's gonna have to get demolished and replaced with an ADA compliant playground. The total cost for that is going to be $250,000, so we're requesting from the state legislature half of that, and we would be funding the other half. This is the first time Hopewell has ever gone to the state legislature requesting a line item, so we're hoping to get some positive reception. We do need a senator and an assembly member to sponsor and introduce the budget resolution on our behalf. And we actually did already receive a response from Assemblyman Varelli's office, and they were extremely receptive to the proposal. So no promises were made yet, and the budget process is we're in the middle of it right now at the state level. So we're excited to see where this might go, and potentially getting some significant dollars back from the state into Hopewell to make sure that our littlest learners are able to enjoy some outdoor play. And like I said, I caution that this year's state budget is extremely tight, so there may be no legislative add-ons, but you can't get what you don't ask for. So that's what we're going to do. And for any interested community members, especially our Bear Tavern parents, I'd be happy to share a template of an email to send to our legislators advocating for them to sponsor a budget resolution for the playground. It's just, we can operate on both sides, from the top down and also from the bottom up. So that's the major update that we have.
They don't have to be Bear Tavern parents.
I'm sorry.
They don't have to be Bear Tavern parents.
They don't have to be Bear Tavern
We're all
parents.
one community, yes?
That's true. So yeah, you're good, Bob. Thank you for putting that up. And then also to explore sustainable models for government relations for our board, the committee has initiated outreach to our board attorney to gain insight into the legal guidelines and feasibility of establishing a standing committee rather than this being an ad hoc committee. And previous agenda items were also discussed further. The committee reviewed the recent resolution adopted by the West Windsor-Plainsboro Board of Education, reaffirming its commitment to DEI in response to federal executive orders. Garden State Equality and other grassroots advocacy organizations across the state have been encouraging other public districts to pass similar resolutions. So the committee considered whether adopting a similar resolution would be a meaningful step for HVRSD, and we plan to introduce a resolution at next month's meeting and having board members review the language. The committee also discussed potentially endorsing the policy to allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote in school board elections. To be clear, this decision ultimately falls under municipal jurisdiction, but our board can endorse, support, and advocate for the initiative if we choose to do so. For background, Newark is the first municipality in the state to adopt this policy, which took effect during this past month's school board elections. The committee plans to engage with the full board in the coming weeks to gauge members' positions and to gather input from local elected officials. So future steps may involve discussions with municipal governments and considering a formal resolution based on the committee feedback. So our next steps include following up with the LD15 legislators on our FY26 budget request, meeting with County Executive Benson to discuss school segregation in Mercer County, seeking legal insight on establishing a standing government relations committee, and advancing discussions on pursuing lowering the voting age for school board elections to 16.
Wow. Well done. Any questions?
Is that it?
Wonderful. Exciting stuff going on. I mean, this is a new area for us, and we thank you, Mr. Kapadia, for your leadership and passion. It's felt like a nice foot forward for the district to be engaging at the legislative level. I also want to interject regarding the conversation that we'll be having over the next month regarding the resolution on the DEI. So kind of keep your ears open for that conversation so we can move forward with as a board, collective board. And then also just the last note around, it just slipped my mind. Well, we'll hold on to that for next time. Happens to the best of us. Okay, thank you. Moving on.
I'm still on the mic.
Oh, you're all still, oh, I have you, I got you. We are doing a lot of sharing. I was like, what do you mean you're taking the mic back? Thank you, Mr. Kapadia, for taking.
Mark had 2, John had 2, now I have 2. It's a trend. All right, the policy committee met on April 14th. I'll be doing the report out in place of Dr. Lilliston, who couldn't be here tonight. We have 3 new policies up for first reading today and 1 policy and regulation up for second reading. So with that, can I have a motion and a second to bring policy 4421.13, postnatal accommodations, and policy 3421.13, postnatal accommodations for teaching staff members, and policy 2416.01, postnatal accommodations for students, for first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Great. All right, so for policy 4421 and 3421, these are new policies to HVRSD. They address the school district's responsibility to provide reasonable accommodations for staff who are returning to school after the birth of a child and may need to express milk during the school day. The policies state that nursing parents need to be permitted reasonable break times and provided with a private location to express breast milk. The policy lays out expectations for the lactation room around availability and physical accommodations like a chair, electrical outlet, and running water nearby. It also lays out expectations around compensation during lactation breaks and coordination with the staff member's supervisor. Policy 4421.13 is specific to support staff, whereas policy 3421.13 pertains to teaching staff members. After review of the policies, the policy committee is recommending the language provided by Strauss Esme with 2 additions. The committee would like to remove the language indicating the school district will provide these accommodations for 1 year after the child's birth. We've added language that the school district will provide these accommodations to nursing parents for as long as the staff member requires them. And this edit aligns with the current APA guidelines, which recommend breastfeeding for 2 years or beyond. The committee also added language indicating that expressed milk may be stored in the school refrigerator or the staff member's personal cooler. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Great. Moving on to policy 2416.01, postnatal accommodations for students. Again, this is a new policy for HVRSD. This policy addresses the school district's responsibility to provide reasonable accommodations for students who return to school after the birth of a child and may need to express breast milk during the day. Similar to the previous 2 policies, this policy lays out expectations around breaks for breastfeeding, as well as physical accommodations, including a lactation room. And it also indicates that the student should coordinate with the school nurse and principal around these accommodations. Lastly, the policy makes clear that students should not incur any academic penalties for using these accommodations and shall be provided the opportunity to make up any work missed as a result of them. So different from the previous 2 policies, policy 2416 indicates that accommodations should be provided not just for expressing milk, but also for breastfeeding if the student desires. A question was raised as to whether the delivery of the child for breastfeeding should require special approval from the principal. Upon further review and citing a federal regulation, it indicates that, and I quote, "The recipient must ensure that the student can access a lactation space, which must be a space other than a bathroom that is clean, shielded from view, free from intrusion from others, and may be used by a student for expressing breast milk or breastfeeding as needed." Therefore, we recommend that the language remains as is. So can I have a motion and a second to bring policy and regulation?
Just do them all at once. Do them at the end.
At the end?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, well, now moving on to second reading. Now moving on to second reading for our next one.
You done with all the firsts?
Yeah.
Yeah, now vote all the firsts. 'Cause you
Oh,
did-
we vote all the firsts. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So is that all in favor? Say aye.
Yep.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Great.
Now.
Can I have a motion and a second reading to bring policy and regulation 2423 bilingual education for second reading?
Motion?
Second.
Great. Policy and regulation 2423 bilingual education lays out the expectations and process by which the district will identify multilingual learners and provide bilingual education, English as a second language, and culturally and linguistically responsive language instruction educational programs. The policy committee received no comments from the board on this policy and regulation during first reading. So we can do a roll call vote now.
Mr. Peters,
Yes.
Mr. Slotman,
Aye.
Dr. Stiliano,
Yes.
Dr. Wilson,
Oh, yes.
Dr. Genovese,
Yes.
Mr. Capadia,
Yes.
Ms. Williams-Galliano.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Wonderful. Thank you all for your committee reports. Appreciate that. Now we are going to move on to calendars. I know. Shh, don't.
She's giggling.
So we need a first and second to accept the calendars for
Motion.
May. April, May.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Please proceed, sir.
What's that?
We're ready.
All right. Since Alex and Pam are here, let's try to schedule finance facilities offline. What? You want, okay, we'll do it, I lost my calendar. He's speaking for them. The 12th, May 12th? Okay. 10 is easy. On the personnel will be on the 19th at 6 o'clock. Good. Vicki?
I think you're probably better off with Pamela if you make it early. Okay. 8:30 or 8 with her probably, right? Is that what we're finding with her?
So you want to do, I don't care. What do you, can you do it like 8:30?
That's fine. See if that works. 8:30 is good.
8:30 on the 15th. Okay, Paulette?
Wednesday, May 14th at 8? Does that work, Mike?
Wednesday, May 14th?
Yeah, 8 a.m. Yes, Amanda?
No, that doesn't work.
You can meet without me, but that doesn't work for me.
Mike, it doesn't work for you?
It doesn't work, I'm sorry.
Does later in the morning work?
Well, no, I'm going to be out of the country in that day.
Oh.
I can try and get online.
When are you returning?
Pardon me?
When are you returning?
I can't hear you.
Use your
Oh, when am I, when I'm coming back? Yes, I'm coming back on the 20th.
What if? Want to do the 21st?
I could, 21st would work, yeah.
Meeting's the 19th. Oh, right. I think we're going to have to meet without you.
Okay.
We need to meet that week, like.
No.
Yeah, is it all right if, Jackie and Amanda?
Sure.
Does the 14th work for you and Jackie? Okay, let's do that.
8 o'clock?
It's 8 o'clock on what day?
May 14th.
Okay.
Drew, government?
How does Friday, May 9th work for folks? No? Okay. 8th through the 12th. What about, okay. We could do in the evening on, oh, you said you're gone on the 12th?
I'll be driving back if it's in the evening.
Yeah, like does 5 o'clock on May 12th work? Okay.
So what is it? What?
5 o'clock, May 12th, Monday.
5 o'clock, May 12th. I'm not going to be here, but I'll try and get on.
Okay. All right.
I think policies next or last.
I think that one we should wait on.
What's that? Community relations.
You want to wait on and see if we can get something on?
Let's put it tentatively for May 9th at 9 a.m. If that works for you.
I don't think it does.
That was the policy. Is it that time or that whole day?
Well, what time are you saying?
9 a.m.?
Yeah, I'm doing the keynote for the graduating class at Ryder at 10:30, so I think that's too tight. I can do it after that.
Community Relations.
I said no to Friday the 9th.
What about the 13th?
13th is pretty good right now.
At 8 a.m.
What time?
8 a.m.
8, that works for me.
Is that okay for you,
Sounds
Jackie?
good. Perfect.
Okay.
How easy that was.
Done and done.
Okay.
All those in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Okay, well, with that, our last public, any new business items? All right. Seeing none, we will move into our final public comment. Members of the public are invited to address the board on any matter for a maximum of 3 minutes during this portion of the meeting. You're asked to state your name, address, and municipality. In response to your comments, the Board of Education may respond or direct the superintendent to do so. The board may also opt to take the matter up at a future meeting so that the matter is researched by the district administration. Public comment is now open.
Good evening, board members and Superintendent Treese. I wanted to say thank you for this board meeting, and I was especially pleased hearing all of the committees, but especially yours, Mr. Capodia, and look forward to the conversation on DEI. And I will just say that I find myself in this time of chaos in the nation coming back to your letter, Dr. Treese, in February, where you affirmed your commitment to really ensuring that every person and family, no matter what you look like, no matter how much money you make, no matter what your political persuasion, who you pray to, what your status is, that you have a place in Hopewell and in this school district, and just gratitude, because it's not just the words, it's the actions. And I'm really proud as a gay parent with 2 biracial kids that I made the right choice of coming to this town. So thank you very much.
Oh, could I ask you to share your name? I missed that. I'm sorry.
Marjorie Paloma, 143 Lambertville Hopewell Road in Hopewell Township. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Seeing none, we will close public comments. Okay, well, I am going to thank the public for joining us this evening, and also for those of you who came to take the tour. At this time, I need a first and second to move into the executive session for the board.
For HIB.
Motion.
Second.
And I need to officially say that this is regarding HIB, and no action will be taken at this time. So, I'm sorry, we have a first and second. All in favor? Any opposed or abstaining? Thank you again to the community, and we're moving into executive session.